Hello everyone and welcome back. This is the July Q&A and it's a little late and I apologize, but it's out, so that's the thing. Also, I have short hair, which probably is not aligning with what you're seeing in the vlogs. Be patient. Eventually in the vlogs, I'll get a haircut. But for right now, we're just trying to get everything caught back up, and we're doing a pretty good job considering all the stuff that we've been going through. So, July Q&A. Let's get started. The first question is from...
Yinks?
Probably like Yankees.
Yankees, yeah, without the vowels. Yankees fan 1996. What were some of your favorite television shows during your childhood?
Anything on Nickelodeon, pretty much. Well, Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, but we didn't get Cartoon Network until I was 10, and we moved into the house that my parents currently live in. Up to that point, we didn't have Cartoon Network. So when I was real young, it was Rugrats, Rocko's Modern Life, Real Monsters, pretty much anything that would have been Ren and Stimpy, anything that would have been on Nickelodeon. And then when I was 10, I was introduced to, well, when I was 10, Cartoon Network was the Scooby-Doo channel. But when I was like 11 or 12, they introduced things like Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Cow and Chicken. You know, SpongeBob was a Nickelodeon show but came along later. That was my childhood.
I really liked Samurai Pizza Cats when I was a kid, and that was sort of on the Saturday morning local station.
I know what that is, but I have never seen it, ever.
It's ridiculous. And I only got cable when I was at my dad's because my mom didn't have cable, and so that's when I would watch like Powerpuff Girls and June Bugs, which was Bugs Bunny all month of June.
Yeah, when it's sad because these days they don't really play Looney Tunes a whole lot. Like the other night, they played Looney Tunes and me and Mom watched it because we were like blown away that Looney Tunes was on. But on basic cable at least, there's no Looney Tunes. There's probably a network that's like Looney Tunes all the time, but...
And that would be awesome.
We should get that one.
The next one is from Monokai. Does Mal ever use the StephenVlog or Play's account to respond, comment to messages?
Not really.
Yeah, I did for a little bit to try and help you catch up, but I haven't lately.
She has in the past, but it's been a long...
Like a year?
It's probably been at least a year. It was something... I mean, if I ever got... It's bad because I'm like, if I ever got really behind, but I am really behind. If I ever got really behind, then I would have Mal do that. But I think it was a situation where back then we were still trying to read every comment. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the reasons. I could actually have you go through the messages pretty badly because I still try to keep up with messages. But if someone sends me a message to a YouTube account, I generally don't get back with them for like 2 to 3 months. Yeah. So, for the record, if you want to contact me, Twitter is like the best way. Like, if you have a real short question, like blah, 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 on Twitter, I generally will get back to you pretty quick. So, use Twitter. I mean, you can send me a YouTube message if you want, but it's going to be a while. Anyway.
ZTrumpet94 says, here are a pair of questions about the college years. What caused Mal to take a 5th year to graduate? When I first started college, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I took about 2 years to decide. I was undeclared. And once I decided, I transferred schools, and then I was behind, so then I'd take another year.
That explains that. What's the other part of that question?
Mal, did you watch every vlog during those years? Was she like a regular viewer to you, Stephen?
Did you?
I think so. I mean, I can't imagine not watching one of them. I mean, I knew what was going on in Stephen's life, but it was sort of like actually being there and not stationary on his webcam.
You got to see this, the stuff that you didn't get to see. The stuff you heard about.
Yeah.
You know, whenever there's something funny going on in the other room, and I came back and was like, oh, Alex was, you know, he chopped his arm off, you know, and then she'd be able to actually see that Alex chopped his arm off. Alex never chopped his arm off, by the way. Next question.
Lintjeeeee. This could be a weird question. I just saw one of your old vlogs where you said you drink tea together every morning. What tea do you drink?
Well, first off, we don't really do that anymore.
Yeah.
I think in the school year, we did. Mm-hmm. And in the upcoming school year, we probably will, but we don't get up early enough for that. now, so we don't really bother. But I'm a fan of all teas: black tea, green tea, white tea, red tea. Favorites, I don't know. I like Earl Grey.
I like green.
Irish breakfast tea. I like green tea. I didn't used to like green tea, but I started to drink it in college because Alex drank it, and he was like, you should drink green tea so you won't die, because that's Alex's saying. You have to drink something so you won't die. And I started drinking it in college, and I got used to it because I think it's kind of an acquired taste. Especially for someone who grew up with
sweet tea.
Yeah, sweet tea. It's, it has no sweetness. It has very little flavor. It
tastes like grass.
It kind of tastes like grass.
Mown grass.
But after a while, you get used to it, and then it's pretty good.
Our next question is from MrDeeWaddle. Stephen, does your mom still make the same food today that she made when you were a kid? And if so, do you still like all of it, or have you started to dislike some of it?
I think there isn't anything I've started to dislike.
I think it was the other way around, because you never really ate anything besides like chicken noodle soup. Yeah,
if you reverse the question, then there's a lot of truth to it, just for the fact that when I was young, I was super, super picky and didn't eat jack. And now that I'm older, I'll eat
anything.
Pretty much anything. I love everything. Were you were picky, weren't you?
A little bit on certain things. Like, I still don't like olives or raw onions, but
which is a shame, and we will fix it in time.
When I was a kid, I was the kid who ate things like salads, and I would have like a bagel for breakfast when everyone else had cereal, or grapefruit half.
Translation for everyone watching: bagel. Continue. Sorry, they may not have understood that.
All the people from Midwest are like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I ate a lot of stuff other kids didn't, but...
You know what, I don't really remember ever having a salad until, like, college. Like, I'm sure I had one, but it wasn't until college that I regularly ate salads. And it's just because...
You went through the Great Taste Revival?
That, but also at the SCAD Cafe in freshman year, like, the only thing worth eating there was salad. Like, the food that they had there was not very good. In sophomore year, it was better. Although, halfway through freshman year, we realized that it was worth the 15-minute walk to the sophomore food cafe. So we would just walk 15 minutes to go eat because it was worth it because the food was better. That was a better idea.
I had to walk 15 minutes no matter what.
Uphill both ways in the snow.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Wisconsin.
Evan Kidd says, which region-specific restaurants, independently owned or chains, would you miss if you had to leave the area? I know for me, being in North Carolina, it would have to be Bojangles. Also, you could apply it to places you've been via travels, etc. Thanks. I miss Culver's.
Mal loves Culver's. Culver's is a fast food place, a nicer fast food place that is...
Part ice cream shop, part
and it's
custard.
It's not exclusive to the Midwest anymore. We have them here. They're not
they're
close
just far
by.
away.
Yeah. For me, Bojangles would probably be one of them. It's not like I can't live without Bojangles, but I really like Bojangles. They have really good food.
Sonic drinks.
Sonic drinks are
Firehouse
good.
subs.
Firehouse is really good. Mellow Mushroom Pizza is very, very good. Zaxby's. Love Zaxby's. But I think Sonic is all over the place, isn't it?
They went out of business in Wisconsin, so I don't know about other states.
I don't know. I think I'm more or less listing, like...
Places you like?
Places I like and places I would be sad if I couldn't eat at. I mean, I like eating locally when I can, but at the same time, I don't think that's as big a deal, like... here, like at the place you live, because we've tried local restaurants and then
we know
it's
which
like
ones are good.
Yeah, so I have no problem with like going to Mellow Mushroom because Mellow Mushroom's good anyway. But when we go on vacation, we try to eat locally,
or places we've never been.
Yeah, or chains that we don't have or something like. We like to experience new food. Basically, we're not the people that go to TGI Fridays or Applebee's when we're on vacation. Although we have, we have in the past, but we don't try to. Anyway, what's the next question?
MsWhitekanna says, question for you both. Are you and Mal outdoorsy at all? Nature walks, hikes, gardening, etc. Or are you more of stay cozy at home types? I like being outdoors, just not when it's like over 90 degrees like it is lately.
In the last week.
And we have a ton of bugs and poisonous snakes here, alligators. I don't go outdoors here much.
In the last week, and I know that you guys are watching this Q&A
before
the vlogs that have come out, but the last week for us was insane, and I think we went outside like twice. It was really bad. It was a good week for productivity, but it was a bad week for health and life. I don't mind going outside. I feel like I get sucked inside more often than not because it's my job. So even like when Mal's at work, Mal comes home, and all day I've been working, and she comes home and she's at work, but she wants to relax because now she's at home. So then we're just at home. And buying the bicycles was a good way to get us out of the house, and I think that that's been good. And we don't always vlog that we're going on bike rides, but we've done that quite a bit. And before that, we would go on walks. But I don't know. We never really went hiking
here.
Well,
you can't.
Well, you can't really go hiking here. I mean,
you get your leg bit off.
I wouldn't want to go. I really wouldn't want to go hiking anyway. That's not really my scene. I don't mind riding my bike, but I'm pushing it at that point. I'm like, I'm mostly a stay indoors person.
I garden on the patio.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a yard. All right.
You still make cherry tomatoes. There's a bowl over there, and every day Mal like empties out the cherry tomatoes and puts them in the bowl, and it's like this big. And I eat them like grapes.
Our next question is from hireplas. When you were young kids, did your parents play video games with you, or would have a certain video game that they would play?
You go first.
I don't really remember my parents playing on the Sega Genesis. My dad bought it out of the blue. It wasn't like something I asked for, so I mean maybe he played it that I don't remember. But he bought us a PS2 for Christmas one year, and we would play like racing games or golfing games because he liked those.
I've talked a little bit about my parents' video game history before, but my mom never really played games ever. There was one time that I got really into Killer Instinct for the Super Nintendo, and I'd asked her to play with me because it was more fun to play with a person rather than play against the computer all the time. So I asked her to play, and she beat me, and I was like, what? Like, because she's a button masher, she's never played video games, she doesn't know what she's doing, and she beat me, and like, anytime we would play, she would beat me. I'm like, this is, crazy. Maybe not every time, but, a lot of the time. As far as my dad goes, way back in the day, we had an NES, and my dad and I would play Super Mario Brothers, and then when we got rid of the NES and got a Super NES, we had All-Stars, which is just Mario Brothers, and we would play the original Super Mario Brothers. Never 2, never 3, never World. He didn't care for any of those, but he liked the original, and he wasn't good at it, and he's still not good at it. Like, he plays it on the Wii, and like, I remember just last year, like, he got to World 3, which is like a huge deal. Like, I walked in one day, and he was playing Mario, and I'm like, are you in World 3? He's like, yeah, never done this before. And I'm like, how'd you do this? And he's like, it was really hard. And then he died, and he's like, well, all right. And I'm like, how'd you get to World 3? It was crazy. Other than that, we played Donkey Kong Country 1, and I mean, he wasn't really good at that either. I think he got to like level 2 or 3.
Where the rain is
level 2, so not super great. But nowadays, he plays Wii Sports. And now that he has a iPhone, he plays Scrabble all the time. Which isn't like, I mean, it's a video game, but it's, it's a board game. But that's what he enjoys. He prefers Scrabble even over Wii Sports now. Anyway, that's my answer.
That Skull Kid 310 says, Stephen and Mal, do you guys prefer video game music or actual songs better? This is a question for you because I love video game music, but I get teased for it.
I like both. I listen to more actual songs, like, more often, but I like them both equally. Plus, there's nothing more awesome than, I keep my my iPhone on shuffle whenever we're in the car, and you'll be listening to, you know, a real band, and then all of a sudden, Aquatic Ambience from Donkey Kong Country 1 comes on, and I'm just like, I don't know, I like that.
And then some crazy rap song, and then who knows what with you.
Well, yeah, I mean, my musical tastes and library are a mystery, but I like video game music. I pity the people that don't, honestly, especially people that play video games but have this mentality that video game music is for video games and not for, like, the car. Because I know people like that, and it's like, you know, there was I had someone in the car not all that long ago, and I was playing Super Mario RPG soundtrack. You know, it came up on shuffle, and they were like, "Oh, what is this?" And I was like, "Just thinking." They're like, "Is this Super Mario RPG?" I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, that's cool." And I'm like, "Do you want it?" You know, I have it. And they're like, "No." You know, I wouldn't really listen to it. And I'm like, "Oh," but you know, it's friggin' the. What's the
I don't know.
What's the place where you get married in that game? I don't know. Like, that's on and that's playing, and then the minecart one's playing, which is actually the ringtone for my phone. I don't know how people can't appreciate that, especially if they grew up with the games. It's like there's so much more of the music going on there when it comes on because it's nostalgia and it's just great. I don't know. Long answer.
I listen to actual songs probably like 95% of the time.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is when a video game song comes on in the car, you enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh God, changing.
Yeah.
I don't have a controller in my hands. I can't listen to this.
Our next question is from Gamerkam. How heavily do you sleep? I'm constantly waking up late to things because I sleep through the alarm or people can't wake me up. Through all grades of school, I've had trouble waking up and getting to school on time. Was this you in school or today? Basically, are you a morning person, and how has being or not being one affected your life positively or negatively?
I sleep, I guess, normally, just for the fact that if an alarm goes off, it wakes me up, and then I'm good. But, I mean, I'm not a light sleeper because I don't get, like, woken up through the middle of the night. I also fall asleep very easily. So I have the best of every world. It is wonderful. How about you, Mel?
I used to have really bad insomnia, and I couldn't fall asleep. And then I stopped drinking most caffeine. Now I only have like one soda a week, and I fall asleep really easy. I guess I'm more of a light sleeper than you, because you wake me up occasionally.
Sorry. Do I, like, kick you?
Yeah.
In the back of the neck?
Or you start talking or something.
I do talk in my sleep occasionally, but we've been through that a few times.
As for waking up, if I set an alarm and I don't actually have to be up, I tend to shut it off and go back to bed when I probably should get up and do stuff.
Yeah, that happens to me a lot. It's like if you have to wake up in the morning, when you go to bed that night, there's like a thing in the back of your head that's like, okay, actually wake up when you set the alarm. And then when your alarm goes off, you do. Like, your alarm goes off and you wake up, and there's that quick mentality where it's like, hey, wake up, and don't you get back into bed. And I'm like, okay. But a lot of times, like in the summer, if we don't have to be up, we'll set an arbitrary alarm clock before bed. We'll be like, so what time are we up? You know, 9. And then we'll set 9, and then...
9 rolls around.
And then I wake up and it's 11:30. I've shut my alarm off. But I don't even remember that because...
It was probably 9 o'clock and you were like, oh, I'm tired. I don't need to be up. And
yeah,
you turned it
and
off.
then I don't even think about that. So that's the thing. Anyway, next question.
Michael HTP137 says, do you prefer kittens or full-grown cats?
Love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
With kittens. Kittens are wonderful and they're fun.
And they're cute.
And they're very cute. They're just too fun. Much too fun.
They like to have much too fun.
And 2, it makes it very hard. Very, very hard. I mean, they really build off of each other's energies. And Sagan and Kepler were so much fun as a kitten, but I mean, you guys probably remember the vlogs if you were watching, you know, 9 or 10 months ago, or longer at this point. It was hard. It was very hard. It was really hard on me because Mal was at work all day, and I'm trying to get work done, and the cats are just going crazy. And
you're trying to keep them off your desk and off the counter.
But, you know, now that they're past a year old, they're still fun. They're still great cats. You know, it's not like they have become dull and boring. They're still pretty active, but it's not annoying anymore. Sometimes it's annoying. Sometimes they're like, cat, why are you doing that? But for the most part, they're just good cats now. So I would say I prefer full-grown cats.
Yeah.
And last question.
WalkthroughBob says, Stephen, did you get your height from any person in your family who you know of, or is it kind of a freak thing? I ask because I'm 6'2" and my brother is 6'5". Neither of us really know where it came from.
My height, I do have some, supposedly, because I've never met them, but supposedly I have some tall uncles. Not my uncles. They must be like, can you have a second uncle?
I guess so.
Or something? We're somehow related, but they're not my uncle, but it's like some kind of do thing. I don't know. I'm not getting my height from them, though, because they're not directly, like...
Blood?
Yeah, like, they are blood, but they're... Don't worry about it. Supposedly, where I'm getting my height is actually from Marfan syndrome, or Marfan's. It's a connective tissue disorder that I supposedly have. The doctors let me know that I have it. Like, I don't know if there's a test for it now, but when they told me that I had it, which was how many years ago at this point? Probably almost like 10. There wasn't really a way to test for it. They just kind of look at all the symptoms that match up, and they're like, yeah, you probably have Marfan's. So they told me I had Marfan's, and it tends to make people very, very tall and have really long limbs and long limbs.
Fingers.
So I'm really, really like lanky.
Fast metabolism, poor eyesight.
Yeah, fast metabolism, poor eyesight, heart conditions. Like I have a hole in my aortic valve, and I'm supposed to go to the cardiologist for regular checkups, but I haven't been in like 6 years. So I'm gonna probably do that this fall. But one of the things with Marfan's is that it can make you really tall. So that's why we think that. Just for the fact that in my immediate family, and even a little, out of that, like I'm definitely the tallest person by a large, large margin.
Your grandfather was sort of tall.
I mean, kind of.
But not like you.
Yeah, my dad's brother is pretty tall. I don't know how tall, but I believe he's pretty tall. Something. For the record, I'm 6'6", if you didn't know, which is 198 centimeters. I had to remember that because we have so many viewers who aren't on the same system, so I have to remember that. But there's pros and cons to it. I like it. But having Marfan's kind of sucks because I have to have them like watch my heart, which requires to actually go to the doctor. Anyway, that's it for the July Q&A. I hope you had a good time. Now, and this is the important part, there's probably a lot of you who have already written your questions down below. Too bad. Too bad. Next month's Q&A is going to be coming late for sure, and I already know it's going to be late, and I apologize for that. Karley is going to be here visiting us, and she is going to be a part of the Q&A. There are going to be 3 of us on this couch. Karley is Mallory's sister. Hopefully you've seen some of the vlogs with her. If you haven't, just watch Kaboom Sparkle. It'll explain everything.
She wanted to be in the Q&A.
She wanted to be in the Q&A. So, write questions that could apply to all three of us. Or write questions that are specifically for Karley. That's fine. But the next Q&A will be the Karley Q&A. And it will be late. It will not be coming out at the end of July or the beginning of August or anything like that. It's going to be like the middle of August, just because we're trying to get it
when she's here.
When she's here. So that's a thing. We've already actually had a Q&A with my parents. If you haven't seen it, I don't actually remember when it was. I think it's like last September. It's actually really good. But we're doing the same thing with Karley. So ask Karley some questions. Thank you for watching. I very much apologize that this is so late. The vlogs will soon be out that will explain it, but as a quick explanation, we've been working on some logos, and people that don't understand logo design don't understand how much work goes into it and how you make like several hundred revisions, and that's what we've been doing. And one day, very, very soon, you'll get to see the logo, and we're excited for you to see it because we're very proud of it. But for now, back to work. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next month, sort of.
A little late.
A little late for the next Q&A. See you then.